Do you have somebody in your life who tends to try and get everyone else to do their work for them? Or maybe you know somebody who is always blaming other things or other people for what's happening in their own life. Why do you think that is? What do you think they believe that continues to have them feeling that way or believing that belief that they're either incapable or that life is going to always be happening to them? That's story. So we see our life through a particular lens, and that lens is what we call in positive discipline your story. Now, stories are usually formed, according to Jane Nelson and Lynn Lott, the founders of positive discipline training. They are usually formed by the age of 9, and they are formed by children's experiences. As children go through life, they are thinking, feeling, and deciding as they interact with their environment and with their caregivers. Now, here's the issue. Rudolf Dreikurs, one of the grandparents of positive discipline, said that children are great perceivers, but they are poor interpreters. And what that means very simply is that you may have meant to put out this message, but you can't control how they receive that message. So story is composed of 3 parts. The first part is I am. We're going to come to a conclusion, and it's going to be I am. Others are. Therefore, I must. So if we go back to the first 2 examples, the person who's constantly trying to fob off their work on someone else might be thinking, I am not capable enough. Others are better at this than I am. Therefore, I must always try to get someone else to do it for me because I'm just incapable. That's that person's story, and they will go through life seeing through that lens of incapability. Now, the questions that immediately come up when I talk about story is, number 1, can it be changed? And yes, the good news is, yes, it can be changed. And it must be changed if it is a negative one, if you see it in your children. Take a look. And the question number 2 is always, how do I change it? So the first thing I would ask you to do as a parent is please to observe, wait, and listen, the owl. Observe, wait, listen. Watch your child and listen. How do they talk to themselves? We all talk to ourselves, and sometimes we do it out loud, and you want to catch them doing that so you can see into their heads and hear their internal thoughts being expressed. Or you can just see how they react to certain situations. How do they react to failure? How do they react to feeling jealous? How do they react to being in a new environment? As you observe them, you will start to see a certain pattern that will give you a good insight into what their story might be. And then you can start to address it. Can you go to them directly and say, I think that you're feeling incapable? You could, but here's the thing. When I come at you directly, the first thing that's going to happen is that you're going to, if we go back to the brain model, you're going to essentially activate my lower brain. I'm not going to be thinking rationally to be able to respond to you. I am going to go into fight, flight, or freeze. This is why when you ask someone, what's wrong? They go, nothing, or I'm fine. It's because their upper brain isn't really thinking logically, I need to respond to this. They're feeling taken aback in some way, shape, or form, so they're going to react that way. So what can you do instead? Start to modulate, create opportunities where you can test their story and try to change it. So if they're feeling incapable, for example, the next time they say to you, I can't do this, instead of saying, I will help you, ask them, okay, what have you tried? What do you need help with? Again, avoid the why questions because they're very aggressive. What do you need help with? What have you tried? What would you like me to help you with? Okay, can I see what you've done? So my daughter comes to me often when she wants to zip up her sweaters. Mommy, I can't do this. Oh, really? You can't? Can I see what you've been trying to do? And how we say it is very important. And so I give her that chance, and she'll often be able to zip up her sweater. And if I see that she really isn't able to, say, you know what, it looks like you need a hand. Let me show you this trick. Now you do it. Give them a chance to do it themselves. So that's the story. I would ask you, what do you think your story is? And how do you think it's impacting your relationships with your spouse, with your child, and even at work?